Hello, welcome. What's up, guys? It's your host, Tina, co founder of Boomerang. We're back for another packed space. We've got amazing guests with cool stories, hot topics, and coins to cover. Excuse my congested voice, I'm still sick from Vegas, but we're gonna make it go keep going. We're coming up on the last shows of this year, you guys. If you've been coming to our spaces, thank you. It's been fun putting these together with Aaron, and we're going to end the year on a high note. So if you're not a part of our family yet, you're welcome to hit follow. 2024 will be epic. But today, we're going to be focusing on meme coins. You can say what you want about meme coins, but they've made millionaires more probably than any other category in crypto. So today, we're going to dive deep. Excuse me. We're going to dive deep into this meme coin madness that's been happening, what to look for, best practices, our top picks, and let me tell you, we've got the right people on. We've got Wendy, one of my faves, knows the charts, knows the market. We've got Shibtoshi, made millions dollars through his Degen plays, mainly with Shiba Inu in the last cycle, as far as I know. Welcome. And the one and only Aaron of Altcoin Daily, my awesome co-host. I'll pass the mic to you, Aaron, so we can get started and then go to guests so they can also introduce themselves.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This will be a fun spaces. The meme coin spaces, guys, and in a bull market. Yeah, I mean, this is when the meme coins are fun, unlike the bear market when it's like, why did I do this? But that was a great song to start out. Old Town Road. If there was
Hey,
any,
thank you. I got good taste, you know?
yeah, if there's any song that would be like comparable to a meme coin, it's certainly that one. And guys, if you're here from my audience, hell, even Wendy's audience, go ahead and retweet this space. We're just getting started, so the more people in here, the better. Going for a tight hour. And so like meme coins. When I think of meme coins, I'm thinking of Dogecoin, the OG. I'm thinking of SHIB. I'm thinking of Pepe. I'm thinking of Bonk. And I like Bonk, but I want to find the next Bonk. Maybe on this spaces we will. Wendy, how are you doing today?
Dude told me to tell you official.
He told you to say that.
That means you're beautiful. No, I'm just kidding.
Means you're just kidding here. No, I'm happy to be here. Thank you guys so much for having me up here, and Shib, and of course Michael, and everybody else. And shout out to Tom Crown. We see Tom Crown in the chat, but unfortunately, you guys, I haven't been trading too terribly much this cycle because things have been a little hectic. But I feel like Shibtoshi is going to be able to give us a lot of alpha, especially because he's done so well. And then Michael too. Michael's amazing. Like I always like when I have questions about stuff, I'm like, Michael, what do you think about this? He's like, oh, I've already gotten in and out of that super fast. But I'm happy to be here. And then for Tina and Aaron, I'm going to miss you guys tonight. But you have to get your rest, Tina, and feel better.
I know, I'm so sad.
Yeah, it'd be nice to hang out with you and your guy D at the local hotspot or the rock spot in Los Angeles. Hopefully next time.
Yeah, they just got a new booking agent, and what is it? I care. They just got a new booking agent, so they're going to be doing more shows. I'm excited. Anyway, so.
Yeah, what makes a good meme coin, Tina? Like, hey, how you want to start this off, Tina? Because I'm wondering what makes like a good meme coin.
Hey, let's go to Shibtoshi first. Let's hear from him. Introduce yourself for the ones that might not know you yet. So welcome. We're happy to have you today.
Hey, happy to be here. Thanks for having me on. For those that aren't familiar with me, I'm Shibtoshi. I am the co-founder of SquidGrow. We are a meme utility token. So my story kind of started in 2011 when I first started dabbling into Bitcoin. I've been a big supporter of Bitcoin since then. Was first introduced to it on the poker tables when I realized that you can actually off-ramp Bitcoin back to fiat, back into your bank account. I was sold on it. My first investment in Bitcoin was about 30 grand. I lost it the following day on the poker tables, and it was off to the races for me. So I've kind of held a little bit of everything throughout the years. Obviously, I was in Bitcoin when the Bitcoin Cash variant came out, so I was airdropped essentially 1-to-1 on that, and I ended up offing that around $1,400 and bought more Bitcoin with it. But most notably in the space, I'm known for my Shiba Inu investment, where I essentially dollar cost averaged 37 Ethereum into a SHIB position, which I held through the top of the market, and still currently. I was first actually introduced to Wendy when she covered one of my OG wallets. Actually did a nice little screen recording of her Instagram page and my portfolio and sent it to her, obviously anonymously. And, you know, kind of that was my first exposure with Wendy.
So you're saying you got on the radar of people in crypto through SHIB, like in 2021, I guess?
Say that one more time.
So you're saying you said you got notoriety through SHIB, Shiba Inu. That was in 2021, I believe. Is that like when you, I know you're pseudonymous, but is that when you came into the public eye in crypto?
No, I came into the public eye into crypto in 2022 as Shibtoshi. So I've kind of operated in the shadows. I obviously am known in certain circles, but not as Shibtoshi. Publicly, I came out as the SHIB holder in 2022 as Shibtoshi.
And full disclosure, I believe Wendy partners with you guys. Me and Boomerang, no affiliation, so I have no problem giving you the hard questions.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're pseudonymous. I mean, like, isn't that like, don't they say avoid meme coins or any cryptos where the founders are known?
Well, I mean that's a thing, but at the same time, look at all the big projects that have had docs developers that ran with your money. Terra Luna being one of them. So I think it comes down to intentions and how a person carries himself. Obviously, to most on here, I am just a voice. Some people on this space have met me in person, Wendy being one of them. But as far as publicly being doxxed, I'm still not doxxed publicly. But I mean, I think it comes down to intentions and how a developer carries himself. Actions speak louder than words in all cases. Talk is very cheap. Most projects can get up here and essentially take the stance that they're going to change the world, and those are just words. But it comes down to the core actions of that project or that individual, and kind of how they carry themselves.
And appreciate you being here, and I look forward to, we're going to be talking about meme coins generally, what to look for, but just so I get excited, have done very little research on SquidGrow, but just like, is any meme coin more special than the next? Is Bonk more special than SHIB? SHIB's got the game and the NFT ecosystem, but like what, I guess, like, to just really distill it in a few sentences, what makes your meme coin unique?
Aside from the fact that I fully fund every aspect of it, which is kind of different in the space, we are a tax token, but all of our tax goes to liquidity. So I fully fund it. So that immediately sets us apart. But it's the utilities that we're working on. Now, obviously, up until this point, we have been building, and some of our utilities have slowly started to trickle out. Our first biggest utility is currently an audit, which is our NFT marketplace. But it's what we are going to be known for, aside from our name and our logo and our branding, is going to be our utility. We're going to be known as a utility token with a fun logo. And we also take security very seriously. We are currently AAA rated on Surtech. 9 audits total right now. Will be 11 after the NFT marketplace. So it's not like we're just building a bunch of like little knick-knack things. We are definitely taking our time. We definitely have the budget and the funding to build quality, and that's exactly what we're doing. We are taking this bear market to build our utilities, so when the market turns, we have that going for us. Like I'm aiming to build very use case and community friendly utilities that I think are going to fill a void in the space. I think everything we're building is something that's needed in the space, and I know me and my circle of friends definitely we align in the same manners. So I definitely am very excited for what we have in the pipe works.
SHIB is kind of being like very, very gracious and humble, but honestly, a lot of the stuff that they're doing behind the scenes is going to help a lot of people out in crypto. And I mean, I can't really say too much about it, but people that do care about security, they care about good UI, UX, they care about things being done the proper way. They're definitely going to want to pay attention to some of the things that are being built.
Why can't you just say? That sounds really interesting, Wendy.
Official, okay? Official.
Well, I could hog your mic completely and kind of jump into the details, but I don't want to take that. If you want to allow me the opportunity to kind of speak on a little more detail, I will. But I'm trying to keep it somewhat brief.
Good instincts, because I do want to make this about meme coins generally.
Yeah.
And I guess I'll throw it back to Tina in a sec, but just like real quick to get your kind of gut check on the market right now. If you take your project out of it, if you had to say what are like the top 3 meme coins for 2024, just to a list, what's on your mind since you're constantly in that space?
Well, obviously, Bonk has made kind of a substantial ruckus in the space. I mean, just in October they were trading at a much lower market cap. So I mean, they're community driven and they're definitely making ripples. I mean, shit, they landed Coinbase. I mean,
So Bonk is a Solana-based coin, and everybody who
absolutely.
got the Solana phone got Bonk. That's what I know about it.
Yeah, yeah, it's definitely making ripples. Obviously Shib is my, big. I'm a big supporter of Shib and everything Satoshi's doing. Xander, Ragnar, all of those boys. I'm a big supporter of Shib, so that's always going to be my number one favorite, no matter what. Taking market cap out of it. Dogecoin, I will say that I'm not invested in Doge, but I kind of wish that I would have jumped on that train when I had the opportunity in the early days. And then there's obviously Pepe, came through and just stirred the pot completely. I mean, it just, when everything else is kind of down and trading laterally, Pepe shot to the billions. I mean, so memes definitely have a certain thing about them that are attractive, but with the meme aspect of it, what you are marketing is the green chart, right? That's the hype of a meme token. Whether it's it also kind of depends on the timing of when a project launched, because there can be 2 different projects that with the same name that have launched at different times, and one's more successful than the other. Um, and Pepe, is in that criteria as far as I'm concerned. But when it comes to meme coins, it's the green chart that's appealing to everybody. Everybody's chasing green, and they have a certain attractiveness to them. But I think at the end of the day, when the dust is settled and the chart isn't pumping green and it's kind of laterally trading, projects need to have something else to fall back on. And for me, my personal belief on that is the utility aspect of things.
I love that it's honestly like one of the topics for this conversation was going to be, hype versus real utility. How much of it is matters within the hype, how much of it really matters what they're doing with the token, what it provides you when you buy this token. But I guess where I want to take this conversation is we all have kind of different metrics when it comes to trading, our risk appetite, what we look for. And I want to find out more about yours. I want to know, with meme coins, I feel like people aren't just trading things that are funny. I feel like they're also trading what the current trend is, the current meta, the narrative. So, for an example, I think the narrative now, as far as I'm aware, seems to be what the founders, blockchain founders' pets, basically. So, there's Myro on Solana, which is supposed to be Raj's pet dog, or Vitalik's mother's cat. And there's a bunch of meme coins that are popping off right now because they're basically pets of founders. I want to know if anybody is trading that before I lose my voice, and what kind of narratives do you look for? And you guys, this is a free flowing conversation, so jump in anytime you have something to add. We do call on some people once in a while, but definitely feel free to add your opinion after.
So I'll jump in. How are you guys? I don't know you, but I know Aaron and Wendy. I've met them both at NFTLA. How are you guys doing? It's interesting you said about the pets, because I started on BSC trading like all the Elon dogs names, like every dog he had, Floki, Doge, other ones. So it's just funny how it's come here. That's kind of funny thinking about that. I didn't even know that was the name of the dog. But also, if you guys have noticed, all of a sudden, like a token comes up from nowhere, and people are trading it. So I really think it's more community. I think the communities are really flowing hard. Like I got involved about 6 or 7 months ago into a Cardano token called SNEC. And I didn't know much about it, but I watched these communities. I watched their NFTs, and I watched them doing some cool stuff. I think it's a 200 million now. And again, it's like a snake. It's a blue snake. I didn't know anything about the token. I wasn't looking at it. I just bought it because I thought it was fun. Like I just literally didn't talk about it. And just recently, just in the last couple of months, I've been just kind of watching the trend, and I don't know what the trend is. I can't figure it out. Like, and maybe some of you specialists can help us, but I feel like it's just, you got to hit the right one. Like the Solana phones, like like first I thought it was a joke a year ago. I laughed at Solana people. I apologized today in a tweet. I was wrong. I mean, they're doing good, and I think it's pretty cool what's going on. I mean, what do you guys think about that?
GM, everyone. First off, thank you for bringing me on the stage. And Fiddy, pleasure to meet you. Pleasure to meet everyone. I'm Spike. So, first off, good on you for getting on Sneck. I actually was one of the first like 200 buyers of Sneck because my friend told me that his friend was making it. So I was like, I'm bullish on you, bro. But for those who know, like, there's all sorts of different kind of metas. You have the first of anything kind of meta. You have the Elon anything meta, as mentioned before. You have the pets of founders. You have the meme itself. And you have the time of season as well. But like with Sneck, for example, that is actually based off one of the previous NFT projects. Sneck actually wasn't an attractive trait on an NFT collection. It became a meme within the Cardano community, actually. And then going to Bonk, like that happened this time last year when Solana was $9-10 and we all kind of gave up on the network aside the OGs. And then guess what happened? The illustrious airdrop happened. And then guess what happened afterwards? 2-3 days later, you have Jaylene the Playboy Bunny already wearing a Bonk swim attire, right? So at that point, it's like, wait, that means they gave it to her in advance and she wore it from the get-go. So it's premeditative marketing, premeditative timing. I mean, every token has a story. Every token has a form of narrative in itself, and that's what creates, ones that'll survive for the short term and ones that'll survive for the long term. The one that I love right now is called Mars because that's an Elon meta. And guess what he's going to talk about the next 10 years? Us going to Mars. That's why I'm super bullish on it. So it's just all about the narrative within itself, and it's all about like the story behind it. I think the most important thing though is who's behind the token, so you have a form of assurance and a form of confidence in the team itself. So that's just my 2 cents.
Michael, Michael, I'd love if you could jump in here because I think of you as somebody with a lot of experience in many different things in crypto. Of course, we know each other from your decentral conferences, you and Justin. But then I also see, I know you and Justin are involved in the, the every single aspect. Like I'm sure you've been in conversations where meme coins are about to get launched. So I guess my question for you, Michael, is like what should like the regular retail person who with meme coins, most of them are going to get burned, but if they want to take the risk, what should they actually be looking for with a meme coin? Because honestly, by the time it gets listed on Coinbase, sometimes you're getting in already, the half of the pump is over. And like also like what's your thoughts on like is the goal of 99% of all these meme coin projects just to make liquidity as low as possible, hype it up as much as possible, then sell into an illiquid market? Michael, what are your thoughts?
Dijon
Dijon Boy's gonna
boy, let's go.
drop some alpha. Just in case if no one knew, I kind of say this from time to time. I've actually was one of the kind of like core contributors in the very early process of looking at the creation of sheep. So basically sheep.
Speak right into that mic.
Can you hear me?
Oh,
Okay.
so much
So I was
better.
kind of involved a little bit in the early
Oh,
of Shiba.
actually, no.
Yeah, you're kind of garbled.
You're ruggy. It's a little
Yeah,
bit. I
take
don't
a
know if
headset
you're
off or
you're
whatever.
too close to it, too far to it. Headphones. I don't know.
Come on, Michael. Speak into the mic
Hold on, is this
correctly.
better?
Come on, Mike.
Am I getting rug?
It's garbly.
Yeah, brother.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, you're underwater. It sounds like.
Yeah, maybe leave and come back.
Or just DM everybody the new next $1 billion market cap coin.
No, Michael, come
I
back.
could do that if you want me to.
All right, I switched. Is this better?
Nah, you're still rugged.
Nah, still garbly.
You're almost there. No, he left.
I want to say something about so this is a strategy that I like to use. It's like when you're looking at meme tokens, like I always dump in like a super small amount, like anywhere between like $100 to like an ETH. It kind of depends what it is. But the reason why is because you don't know if these things are literally, it's like a 50% chance of it going to the moon or it rugging. And that's okay. And that's kind of what you sign up for when you get into meme tokens. However, that's why I use the moon bag strategy, especially with meme tokens, because you get into it for the meme, you get into it to make as much money as ethically as possible. But at the same time, you do want to potentially see if the team actually pulls through and wait for some of that utility to come through, whether it be like getting listed on Coinbase. Like some people view that as a utility. I know it's dumb, but it is what it is. So that's why you keep a moon bag, because like, let's say maybe like 3 years down the line, the thing ends up doing well and actually creating really great utility, then you have exposure and you do great.
100%. And one thing I want to add as well that's really important is diversification in your bankroll strategy. So, like, if you only have $1,000 to spend, right? Okay, are you the kind of conservative buyer to where I'm only going to do 10 $100 buys because two of that of the 10 are going to rip? Or it's, hey, I'm high risk, high reward, aggressive. I'm only going to put two plays into $500, right? So you have to ask yourself, what are you comfortable even doing? Because there's tons of options out there, just tons and tons and tons. But yes, Wendy is spot on.
Can you guys hear me better now?
Loud and clear, bro.
Yes, welcome
Oh
back.
my.
Much better. Welcome back.
Alrighty. So yeah, we were kind of like going through the introduction real quick, but just in case no one knows, I'm the DGen boy. Little fun fact, I was there around the early creation of Shiba, in terms of like who was part of the groups and who was actually creating the beam hype cycles. So contributed in a minor way in some of the marketing side of it. But looking at the meme space, honestly, like the meme utility portion, if you're looking at how, if you look at it in terms of layers, so like let's say layer one and layer twos. So if you look at the wave of Polygon, whenever they onboarded with like TFI Summer and all these other things, you start seeing a copy and paste very similarly to every single chain. And what happens is that you just have to find which ones are going to be the next one. So if you're already seeing memes starting to pop off on Ethereum, you start then looking at Polygon, Binance Smart Chain, you follow the liquidity, you go and then switch over to Injective. And right now, Solana is kind of like the hot topic of it, to be able to push into meme coin territory. So the liquidity actually flows around it, in what I think is narratives that could be capitalized on, and especially like under leveraged markets. So if the market already has systems like DEXs and everything already available, tools like DEX tools, there's, I think BSC has a PooCoin and a few others. You can kind of already see some of the coins that are popping off. But the wave of liquidity is definitely what you want to look at. You want to start looking at if that main chain is having buy volume, then start looking into the narrative. If other meme coins are starting to pop off, you'll probably see a few start coming into the picture. And I think Solana right now is like capitalizing on the meme coin hype, and also Injective too.
You said get DEX tools, which is like a data aggregator, way to look at the charts and look for if you said the volume is increasing?
Yeah, so for example, like you look at like Solana, you've seen over the previous week that Solana's volume has started to increase in terms of buying the actual token, so the Solana token, which means that the ecosystem is definitely going to start flourishing up. So I think of it as like leverage on leverage. So Bitcoin is like Bitcoin's regular leverage. USDT and USDC is no leverage. You look at getting into Solana. If Solana is going to increase at least 2x or like start going up to a multiplier, what happens is that the ecosystem starts skyrocketing. So if you look at like Ethereum, I say that Ethereum is like let's say it's a 2x in terms of risk. You look at Polygon as like a 3 to 4x. I would say more closer to 4x at this moment. So that whenever basically like whenever Ethereum pumps, Polygon pumps twice as hard. And if Polygon pumps, Polygon assets are going to pump twice as hard. So if you're looking at Solana getting a major traction right now, hitting 96, it's probably going to push to 100. And what's going to happen is that the whole ecosystem is going to go up with it.
I'm really glad this is recorded space because that is probably the best alpha I have heard in probably close to a month. That is like, you guys really should listen to Michael, if not even follow him if you haven't already. I just did.
Why do you think he's called DGen
He is a
boy?
legend.
I try to stay in the shadows as much as I can, but usually around the markets, I kind of peek my head out and say hi.
And not just DGen boy, give Wendy a follow too. Give Boomerang a follow. Hell, I'm following Spike. I liked what he had to say, and of course, Shib Toshi. What's up, Hans?
Oh, nothing. I was gonna say maybe the next $1 billion market cap token is cock on AVAX. Is getting its hype.
I brought you up to say that.
I figured.
Uh,
This
I
guy
mean,
was raising his hand in the audience. I want to say something. I have something to say.
Hold
I'm
on.
like, oh, this guy's got alpha. Look at his bio. He's into Ponzi-nomics.
I'm not gonna lie though, that is very creative and it confused the shit out of me a few times. That hand up, and he's in the request with his hand up somehow. So,
No,
well done.
there's an actual token, like a meme token called it's COQ. It's in the
Oh, really? Is
AVAX
it?
ecosystem. Yeah. I've seen it in the run-ups, but I'm starting to see liquidity actually flow away from the AVAX ecosystem. So once again, it's starting to flow
Ooh.
into Solana.
where is it flowing into, Michael?
I see it flowing more into Solana right now. And then like basically like injective liquidity is flowing out. Like the meme coin rally has kind of already pushed for it. One weird ecosystem that I haven't seen a run up for is actually Polygon. I haven't seen Polygon do anything. It's like a stable coin right now, and it's pretty weird because like if you're looking at the flows of liquidity, you start seeing more that are like this like smaller deposits being placed in. Maybe it's starting to kind of like rally up, right? Like people are starting to push smaller deposits that it's not going to be noticed on chain. But I think that for Polygon, like it's due for something. I don't know, like they're releasing CDKs and all these things. Like imagine like 20 plus layer ones and 20 plus chains that are going to be under Polygon, and I haven't seen any kind of like meme cycle or kind of like any cycle narrative that's been pushing with it. So I don't know if it's a silent killer or if it's just a delayed reaction and waiting for liquidity. But Solana's taking the kind of like the major force of it right now.
Maybe that's because ETH hasn't really done. There's not a whole lot going on in ETH right now, and like kind of like in order for like Matic, Polygon, Pole, whatever they're going to be changing it to now, in order for that to exist, Ethereum has to be doing things. So maybe it's kind of like a delayed pump for that reason. What do you think, Shibtoshi?
Um, I'm not very diverse in what's going on with Solana right now. Obviously, I'm seeing the massive run up. We currently are on BSC and Ethereum, so I'm hoping that we start seeing some liquidity injections over there. But there's definitely a lot of noise going on in the market right now, and I definitely hope that some liquidity starts diversifying into the areas that I'm currently in. But yeah, I don't have much to weigh in on this currently.
Where'd you guys start as your home? Was that BSC or?
Yeah, so we actually launched June of 2022 on BSC chain. Obviously, Ethereum's more of my home turf, but kind of the reasoning around why we dropped the project to even begin with was to try to not only give a safe and secure place for our friends and family to invest, which obviously is now our community, but kind of cater to people that are just finding crypto for the first time. And I think majority of the people in the space hate paying the Ethereum gas fees, and BSC has relatively low fees, and I think there's a lot of potential growth there for BNB. I mean, last market cycle, it got up to around $600. Currently, it's trading, in the 200s. So I think there's a lot of room to grow there. But we debuted on BSC chain as a stealth launch, and then sometime down the road, we launched our Ethereum variant as well.
Gotcha, thank you. And yeah, I mean, it's no wonder that Ethereum isn't having a big meme run and it's Solana this season because, I mean, Solana's cheap, fast, it's perfect for meme coins. Most people don't want to pay $70 in gas fees to just trade a meme coin right now. So, it's good that you guys also have our multi-chain solution. You have options. But what I wanted to ask is, let's bring some of the other coins up and see what your guys' thoughts are on them because we're coming up on the last 30 minutes of the show. So let's just go through a bunch of coins. Let's start with garbage. I mean, it's in the name. I think it's truly garbage. It doesn't really have anything, but I'm wondering if anybody's really aping into it right now.
What is it? I
So
don't even know what that is.
you should see the video. It's really like the video is really entertaining in terms of here I'll send it to you, or
Wait,
I'll
can you
place it on
pin it
Twitter
up
here.
here? Actually, I don't think I've seen the video.
It's like professionally done for the video,
I'll
and
say it's
then
SquidGrow way better than garbage. I don't know anything about garbage, but you can just tell.
You guys ever feel that like the tokens that come up and really do well is something completely unexpected that we're not really ready for? Like when Pepe came up, I thought it was a joke. I saw Pepe all over. I'm like, what's this? And all of a sudden, this bonk, it came out of nowhere. Like, how do we catch these things? Like, what do we need to do to be alert? Like, that, I have no clue where to even look now.
You need to be an
Honestly, Bonk
insider.
is one that I kept seeing like before it popped off. So I'm more mad at myself for not really aping into it. But it's like you
Yeah,
see, yeah.
I'm sorry. I was gonna say, yeah, like back in October, it was trading around like the 10 million market cap range, and it just, came up and blew past the $1 billion market cap. I mean, kind of essentially out of nowhere. I mean, just goes to show the persistence of a community, and you know, I mean, how quickly things can turn to a strong upside.
Well, going back to Bonk, I said earlier, like some people credit Bonk as saving Solana, you know, and yes, it did reach, I think, 350 million market cap before their initial dump, but like that narrative is still there. And then as Solana started doing better, those people that had conviction stuck around. For those who really don't know where to find them, I actually recommend following smaller accounts of people that actually have that conviction, because this is how it works. When enough people work as a unit together and rally, magic happens every time. And that's why community people always credit a community on everything, because that's how it works. It's just like the army. If there's no soldiers in an army, there's no army. It's like a fraternity. There's no members in a fraternity, there's no fraternity. It's the same thing here. So I just recommend following slightly smaller accounts, following the people with conviction, because at the end of the day, 10,000 people that have enough conviction, you're going to hear about it.
Aaron, I thought you were gonna go, but I love that,
I'd
and I
recommend
think
selling. I'd recommend if you're up,
yeah.
just sell.
When do you sell? Because I feel like with these coins, I mean, most of them, if they're not building, if they're not a utility token, then you're only buying into culture, community. And most of these narratives that make these coins come out of nowhere, whether it's like, oh, we're announcement of Grok, and now there's 20 variations of a Grok coin, or, the founder's cats or dogs. And well, something starts this narrative, but how do you know how long the narrative is going to run for? I guess if the community is loud and they keep building, so the meta will run with it. But when do you take profits?
I mean,
I
you never know how long it's going to run for. Go ahead, Wendy.
I personally like when I'm like up 2 or 3 times, like, because I like when I'm aping into this stuff, like I'll watch the charts, and when I'm starting to see like 2 or 3 times, even 5 times, like I'll start taking profit out then, and that's why I moonbag it and just kind of let it go, and I look at it like a bank account, especially because we're in the very early stages of the bull run. But at the same time, like it kind of depends. Like I feel like it depends how much disposable income you put into it, like what you expect with the project, like how fast you can get in and out. But I think like once it starts multiplying, you should probably start taking some capital out, because these things pump up so fast and they dump even faster.
And this
But
ties into the previous conversation earlier, right? Like, what's your risk strategy? Like, are you okay with getting a 3x and possibly fading a 10x? Because you see that on crypto shows every day. Oh, I took a 60% return, which you still won. You still won, but you missed out on a 10x. So, like, that's why the concept of Moonbag is so important. Like, hey, I'm cool with these profits, and if something awesome happens, then even better, right?
Why don't you just
Yes.
double it, take your money out, and then let the profits ride as your moon bag, and then you can start taking little bits out as it keeps going up, if it keeps going up.
what coins you
100%.
like
Wow,
unlocking?
lad, I was literally about to just call on you and say, "What's up, Lau? We haven't heard from you.
What's happening?
What do you like?"
Boomerang, where it always comes back around. Let's
Hey.
go. So I got bombarded here lately with Jesus coin, and they're supposed to like burn 80% of their
Did you find Jesus
show.
coin, or did Jesus coin find you?
Jesus coin found me, and so they said they're going to burn 80% of their supply on Christmas Day. So and it just kept busting up on a timeline. Somebody
So you better
DM'd
sell
me.
on the
Somebody,
23rd.
oh yeah, 24th, Christmas Eve.
Just kidding, guys. I'm a little bit skeptical, but like it's just I've been hurt before, and like for every coin that we know of that isn't like new, like Jesus coin, like for the bonks, or even bonk, for the Pepes, for the Doges, for the Shib, there's literally hundreds that you've never heard of because they pump once and then they go away. And you can make some money on that for sure. But my assessment for anybody new, and I don't really know, but maybe like Spike and Michael and Shibtoshi could like help me paint this picture more. Like this is the way I think. This is the way I think the meme coins go nowadays. That the devs, the meme coin devs, get together, say we're gonna do a meme coin. What can we think of? What's like a famous person gonna like tweet about? Like Spike said earlier, oh, Elon's going to be going to Mars. That's always going to be like a narrative. He tweets about it once, and then the coin pumps. And that is literally like the thought behind so many of the memes of meme coins, I feel. And then like, so the devs get everybody together on a Telegram, and they're like, pump it up, guys. Keep argue with Bonk now. Argue with Pepe, and like start a war. And they hype it up, and they hype it up. And then in the back end, the devs are like limiting the liquidity or making it very, very scarce. And then the coin just moons, and then people sell. And that's kind of like what I get, like how I see it. Michael, what do you think?
All right, I'll give you guys industry information. So with a lot of these meme coins, you kind of like saw the cycle even in like early phase of like 2021, like I would say like late 2021, like the hype of the bull market. I called it the froth, where basically you would have 100 to 200 projects launching every day with meme coins across various chains, just because there's so much liquidity within the market. And there, not a lot of people know this, but there is usually groups that would launch probably like 20 to 30 projects within 2 or 3 days, and be able to rug liquidity from that side. So it was it was to where they would basically just launch, and people that are aping in would either A, get rug pulled pretty quickly, or go into a honeypot. They don't kind of like do due diligence on the smart contracts in the beginning, or they don't wait until there's sufficient enough liquidity. So what happens is that there's very large spikes, and a honeypot is basically whenever you buy into a contract and you cannot sell at all because the tax that's going to be associated with it is like 100%, or they disable they basically disable the transfer fee. Or even if a contract says that the contract is revoked, you have to look at before the contract was revoked, was there any way for anyone to be able to sell? And if there was, is there, you have to look at, so I use Dex tools a lot to see if there was bot accounts. So usually in the beginning, sniping bots, there's plenty of different sniping bots, will go in and purchase tokens right off the bat. And then from there, be able to effectively like market make against you. So if you have like 20 or 30 projects that are launching at the same time and everyone's using the same metrics in terms of how to scan for projects, you then start having liquidity flow out. I believe there was a trader that had a spreadsheet of the dog craze. So basically there was like Husky, there was you know golden retriever, like all these different type of dog coins that were coming up. And what happened was like 99, like about looking like 6 months afterwards, his portfolio was down 99.99%. Some VCs use a strategy of spray and pray, where they'll do, hey, look, 10 investments, probably one of them is going to 10x to make my money back. But as an average investor, majority of the people don't know that those opportunities do take some time, due diligence, and does take a lot of bandwidth from the team to be able to find and scour for those opportunities. So like those 10 would probably be the cream of the crop compared to the any of the ones that you were be able to find, and also because of the close networks as well. So if you're launching a meme coin, the majority of the time they'll be able to bring in influence, kind of bring in exchanges already to push off the bat, and be able to already pay for a lot of the allocations because they're also already privately funded. So like if you have a meme coin that starts launching with 5 million liquidity, they've already launched, they're able to get all these exchange listings and placed up, and they can slowly just be able to push the liquidity down. And also market makers and the market makers that they partner with as well. Some of them aren't as friendly as the others. Some of them do have it to where they push price up on basically the on purpose. The reason why is because so the team can sell allocation to fund their treasury. So if they're needing a treasury, they sell through the market makers. Just it's kind of like the internals of the industry that not a lot of people talk about, but
You're
you
basically
just have to
saying, and
keep that in mind.
so internally, so they don't just tank the price; they have the market makers slowly sell, so the price is as least affected as possible. Is that what?
Yeah, so it doesn't show that much on the chart. If you're trying to offload $10 million, even like an OTC desk, you don't want to do it all in one sell, because then it would just create a big wick because there's not enough liquidity on there. So what you do is you market make to a certain price, and there's sometimes an average. So let's say, hey, look, the average is between 12 cents and 13 cents. Anything between that, I would sell all the time at 13 cents. And at 12 cents, I'll keep the price up to there.
And is that like ethical? Or is that like best practice, or what?
Well, it depends on the market makers. right? So some of them are non-ethical, and they'll pump the price as much as they can, and then do basically you'll see the big red candle coming afterwards and everything. But some of them make it to where the price impact doesn't impact the users too much, so that users could potentially not even feel the market effect of it, because it aggregates and creates liquidity depth so that everyone else goes into it.
Yeah, and I guess in the same way, if they're making it so like the coin's price doesn't tank that much, in the same way they're making sure it doesn't spike that much, and just trying to make it like hurt less people. I don't know.
Yeah, they're
Yeah, so it's
essentially
it's
propping
it's
the
where
price up.
they prop it up for a little bit,
Yep.
but their main goal, if they're a really good market maker, they prop it to an average. So the average is where, hey, look, we're not going to go above this price, we're not going to go too much, but there's a spread, so that, let's say, after the market maker is finished, the community can then rally, and if the community has more liquidity after that, the token price goes up.
Can I ask you a question? Like,
That
what do you think
sounds like smart business practice to me,
it
but
does?
it is a rigged game.
What's up, Loudmouth?
What's happening, Fitty?
I want to ask a question to DJM Boy. So, what do you think? Like some examples of some like tokens have done who have had a good team that makes sense. Like what would you say that would be? Like
In
ethical.
terms of memes,
Yeah, like as
or
ethical as possible. Yeah, like meme tokens, but teams that have done a good job, like you think.
I think for the meme portion, there's only two that I would probably consider that is really good, which is Doge and Shiba. Um, and then for them, in terms of liquidity that's added on from the hype, right? So it takes a lot of effort to really create user demand, from the community, to where it outpaces buy and sell pressure. So if you're able to if you're able to incentivize a community early, what happens is that you create incentivizations for them to do a run up. So if the run up is way too fast, like if you see a coin that pumps like 20,000% that day, do you think you're not going to be exit liquidity? Most likely someone's going to cash out. But if you see a slow run up, it's a little bit more effective. Um, in terms of kind of like the marketing portion, I think that the meme narrative, it is still very popular, but the meta has changed. Like back then, it was basically a white paper and a dream. You can kind of push out a meme coin, get a community together, start pushing influence within the community, start getting some of the content creators, start getting exchanges, getting everyone paired up together, right? And then say, cool, we're launching, everyone is ready to go. But not getting it to where it's front run. Now it's very, very front run to where like I posted the video up here about garbage. I really, really like the video, but the thing is, like, if you look on it, or some of these newer meme coins that come out, they already have a lot of pre-allocation funding. So let's say if a VC comes in and is like, hey, I'll buy 1% of your supply for 5 mil to fund the liquidity protocol and fund the liquidity, you're definitely going to get front run by them, because for them, if they place in 5 mil and they 2x, like, they don't care. It's 2x on 5 mil compared to if everyone comes in at a fair distribution. And I think that meme coins that have more of a fair distribution system start growing over time and getting more adoption.
Got it. That it's a good answer. I really like what you're saying because a lot of times, we all hear like, "Hey, these things have no utility. They're all going to zero, this and that." And so I hate recommending things unless I know 100%, which I never do. But I feel like it's just a matter of time till somebody says, "Hey, you know what? We're actually going to do one with utility, and it's going to do something rather than just pump and pump and pump." And the first one that does that, I think, is going to be the next big token. It's going to be kind of like your Doge. You're going to have another SHIB. You're going to have another one like that. So I'm glad you said that because I think people need to hear that. Really appreciate that. I definitely just gave you a follow-up too.
That's
And that's why I kind of like respect Shiptoshi. I just want to give a quick shout out to, so for like Shiptoshi, it's like for him, creating a utility portion for a token, it is pretty difficult in terms of like having multiple products. But if you look at like majority of the meme coins, like, do they even have a product? Like, if there's no product for it, how is it going to be sustainable in volume and bringing back as revenue generating? Because like if you look at a lot of them, they're not revenue generating at all, besides just community sentiment. So if you're a one-trick pony, it's really difficult to kind of maintain pricing unless there's going to be a secondary narrative to push it for utility and on-chain metrics for usage.
Do you see it more bullish for basically meme coins to have their own utility, or to, spend funds on hype marketing and just kind of sustain that hype that they got initially? I mean,
Isn't
obviously, I know what's better for the space, but I'm wondering, like, in terms of sustaining their price.
But isn't
Well,
that what a lot of the NFT projects have done? Is like they had these big, like they sold an NFT, like the 10,000 generative stuff that we saw last cycle. Is like they literally created nothing from nothing, added no value besides basically you pay like a couple $1,000s for a ticket to go to a party. I think Shib, you were going to say something.
yeah, I was just gonna chime in and kind of piggyback off of what you're saying. Some of these meme tokens, they generate hype from nothing, nowhere. They've got essentially nothing really going for them except for a name and a logo. And I think in the space, obviously, there's a few exceptions here. It's very hard for a meme token that is solely a meme token to maintain any level of upward movement after the chart has kind of leveled out and turned around. It's real easy to market a green chart. You can spend very little marketing on it. Your community is going to pretty much mass market that, hey, look at us, we're pumping, we're doing this, we're doing that. But when it all kind of subsides, you need, in my personal opinion, you need something to fall back on, and you need a way to kind of divert liquidity back to the project itself. And I think that's done with utility. I mean that's exactly what I truly believe. That's what we're doing at SquidGrow. All the utilities that we're building right now and have taken all the time and the funds to build, is going to give back to our project in some way, shape, or form. Like SGX, our perpetual exchange, for example. 25% of all revenue generated on that platform will go back into our chart, either in the form of buybacks or liquidity injections. And that's how I truly believe that we are going to make our mark on this space. It's not going to be our name, it's not going to be our logo. And I think, kind of following, looking at the examples in the space and all the projects before us, there's been a lot of banging, projects out there that just kind of lost the wind under their sails, so to speak, and just kind of fell flat. A couple of them touched 250 million market cap, and some of those projects are trading around 2 million market cap right now. So they've just completely lost all their steam. And I think it's really hard to market a red chart, but one avenue that you can take to kind of turn that around is with a utility that's unique and that will give use case and that people will actually mass adopt. And then when you start generating revenue from that, you pour it back into your project, into your chart, and you can start getting upward movements as a result of that. And that's the stance I'm taking. That's where we're pouring all our money into in our project in particular. And I, I
Let me
hope
ask
we're
you
I hope
something.
we're onto something.
Let
Go
me
ahead.
ask you something. Why, like, you're obviously bullish on SHIB. You're still bullish? Yes, no?
Absolutely. I've never pulled profit on SHIB. I'm still diamond hand in that.
Insane. If you were in early, why don't you sell a little bit?
I love the project and the amount of damage. For example, if I was to rip 100 million on SHIB, it would essentially have drained all of the DEX liquidity. Obviously, I could have outsourced to the exchanges, but I truly
Why didn't you
believe
just
that.
sell 1 million?
I mean, I don't need it. I'm my lifestyle is funded from Bitcoin. I got into Bitcoin extremely early. I have nice big bags of Bitcoin. I just ripped decent profit in Bitcoin this last run up. And that's what I don't need the SHIB investment to
I
to
love
live
it.
life.
Success story. I understand, but this was my greater question.
Okay.
Um, why do we need SquidGrow? Isn't like Shiba Inu adding utility?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to get into comparing my project against SHIB. I've got nothing negative to say about them, but I think the difference is obviously I'm
Yeah, what is
sure
the difference? That's what I'm asking. What is the difference?
well I can tell you what we're doing. I can't really attest to what SHIB is doing, but
Well, we know what they're doing. They're doing Shibarium, the game. They have their NFTs.
mhm.
I know very broadly what they're.
Yeah, and I'm sure there's more to it that we are not not privy to knowing, but you know we are a project that's solely focused on our community and our investors. That's what this whole thing was about. And it's real easy to say that, right? But actions speak louder than words, so every step of the way in our project and development, we put our community first, whether it's from tax. Obviously, we've generated millions and millions of dollars in tax, I'm sure. And we could have funneled that to, to at least to an extent to our marketing wallet, but we didn't. Where'd we funnel it? We funneled it into liquidity. Why'd we do that? Because our community deserves the opportunity and chance to pull profits on their investment when they choose to do so. Shib, for example, right? I'm sitting on this big bag, in one of Wendy's videos, she was talking about $5.7 billion in, return on an investment, but that's actually only one wallet. That was my OG wallet. I had another wallet with 30 trillion tokens in it that had an additional 2 billion in there, and there was not enough liquidity in the market in that token to exit that position or even a big chunk of it. And so I say that to say this, what we're focused on is making sure that we put out quality utilities, but also allow our community to pull profit on it. And how do we do that? We do that by growing our liquidity pools as a direct result of that. And then you take it a step further and you start developing utilities that you truly believe are going to be useful to your community, and not only
Have
to
you
your
made a
community.
promise? Have you made a promise to your community not to sell if you don't need, that much money? Like, what's your deal with the community?
What do you mean not to sell?
Like, if you said, 100 million in Shiba Inu, it doesn't make that, much difference to you. I would assume you're not like selling small amounts as the token pumps, or are you? Or like, what is
Of
the
SHIB or my
no,
project?
of SquidGrow. I'm wondering
Okay.
what. Yeah, tell me about, just briefly, like, what is.
So all the buybacks that I've ever done for my project have been from my treasury wallet. So when I do $100,000 buyback, all that goes to the treasury, and those tokens are purposed for the project, whether it's to maintain liquidity pools on exchanges or when we
But
were
do you
running.
sell? That's the question. Do
No,
you or the
absolutely,
team sell?
absolutely. I buy, I don't sell. And when I buy transparently on the chart
And
from
is
our
there a
treasury
number?
wallet.
Is there a milestone in the future where you go, well, after this point, we might sell, or like after this huge milestone, things change?
No, absolutely not. The way that I'm going to make my money back from the project is not going to be from selling my token that I purchased from the treasury. It's going to be revenue generated from the utilities that we are building. That is how we are going to make our money back.
Big if true.
I
I mean,
love that, and go ahead.
no, I was just going to say, that is what the entire plan is built on. Hiring Mike Miller from DC Comics and Game of Thrones and Marvel to do my NFT collection, obviously was not cheap. Incorporating $300,000 in blue chip NFTs such as Mutant Apes, Doodles, Kennel Clubs, Metaverse Land into our NFT collection, which we will then give away in that collection, was not cheap. Building the NFT marketplace is also not cheap. So, trying to, justify pouring this kind of money into a project to then turn around and hurt your project by selling tokens on the chart makes absolutely no sense. You pour money into building utilities and quality and you put that out to the market. And when that utility catches on and begins to generate revenue, you can start paying yourself back. And I've been very transparent about that. That is the plan when it comes to us. It's never going to
Appreciate
be selling tokens on the chart.
appreciate you being straightforward. Appreciate that. Good
Yeah,
answer. We only have 5 more minutes. Spike, get in here. You always have something interesting to say.
I appreciate it. I kind of want to tackle back to the previous question in hand. In my opinion, teams are meant to give their communities confidence. That same confidence is what drives those communities to decide the fate of the project. Because again, it's the same things before. That's why
Sorry,
every
repeat what
NFT
you just said. What was the first sentence? What was your premise?
teams give communities confidence. And it's on those communities with said confidence to decide the fate of the project. Because again, they need to be relevant in the space every single day. They need to be pushing it out every single day. You know, even in community takeover projects, right? Like sometimes like, hey, it's 0-0. How are they gonna make it? Because of those communities, right? And
So
the same thing too, like there's
the
been
best
so
method is like the Richard Hart method. Then just like that could go too far sometimes, saying it's going to go up in a bear market. Be confident.
Yeah, I wanted to say the same thing. One is giving your I mean, it's an art, to be honest. Some people, that's all they're good at, just giving your community confidence. But it matters, what they actually do, what the team does, if they're consistent with putting out what they promise that they'll put out, and not just, creating hype and giving you hope, but also showing up, and not just showing up, but building and not just building sustainable business models. Because I feel like it's one thing to just come on, say good morning every day, we're here, we're working hard every day, but actually doing something with the business itself. And I like some of the answers that Shiptoshi was providing, because to me, from what I hear today, it sounds like he understands that he needs to have a sustained business model and not just, um, let's pump this token somehow. No, let's figure out how this project is going to start paying for itself. Let's figure out how it's going to accrue more, even, revenue. So I love that. It's the fact that it is utility token. Obviously, we're just going to have to kind of witness where they go from here and how they develop things. I'm a big fan of utility tokens. That's why we came up with Boomerang. The whole thing was that Boomerang has an access token. It's an NFT, and it was a whole way for us to kind of experiment with NFTs as an access token, as a utility token, to show people they're not just for rug pulls. They're not just for pump and dumps. They can actually give you access to a software as a service, and that's what we're doing. And I would love to actually collab with you guys, Shiptoshi, if it makes sense. I would love to still learn more about what you're doing, and maybe how we could be helpful to you guys. We have a CRM coming up for basically DAOs and community managers that really just enables you to connect with your community, communicate with them on chain, straight to their wallet addresses, manage lists and events, and provide tickets through NFTs and all kinds, just using the NFT technology to really show people how it could change their daily lives. But it's been a great space, you guys. I want to give the last few minutes for any closing thoughts that you guys might have. We are coming up on the hour, and I feel like it's never enough. We have so many questions written down, so many topics that we never got to cover, but there is always next week. So if anybody has any
Yeah,
closing thoughts,
I say the number one thing to look out for is as much or as little as they say, as long as they continue to follow through and do what they say. That consistency gains trust, and being like open and out front, like, because like you said, you can work every day and still die poor, right? You see people do it all the time, and then somebody pulls up in a Bugatti. How is that possible? You got to work smarter, not harder, but you also have to be consistent and keep your word. So if you say something, I expect you to do it and keep it, and if not, then that trust is lost a lot. It's gained in drops and it's earned in it's earned in drops and lost in buckets, and you got to guard your buckets, really, really close. And I did just look on Dex Tools, and Jesus is number one. So just saying.
He was
He
always
should
number
be
one in
number
your
one.
heart.
He should be number one. Low
I mean,
key.
especially getting close to Christmas, there's no reason why Jesus shouldn't be number one.
We all need a little Jesus.
I heard with
Quick question.
globalization happening every day, Allah could be number one. I don't know.
Aaron, you're such a grandpa.
I should make a Buddha token. Oh my god.
Michael,
You should.
Moon Daddy,
Sorry,
Moon
sorry.
Daddy,
You did my.
Moon
I
Daddy
support it.
said,
Michael, the
he
black
was going
one.
to come out with Black Jesus on Christmas Eve.
Wait, I have a question though.
That'd be niche.
The dev or the founder of Jesus Coin, is it Anon?
No, he's doxxed.
Who is it?
I don't know. I don't know his name. I can't remember.
I think I know who it is. I think Dee knows who it is. I don't know. Anyways, though,
I
thank you
think
guys for having
it
me.
might be Moses.
hey,
No,
good luck
That's
to
a good
D.
guess.
It's good.
Fitty,
I'm so
Fitty, Fitty,
sorry.
aren't you on like the team for Bencoin? Aren't you like an ambassador or something?
Oh my God.
Oh, Fiddy, you got some alpha? You got some alpha?
Oh my
Who's
God.
in the
No.
truck, Fitty? Who's in the truck?
Share it.
No.
Hey, Aaron. I had a quick question for you, real quick. So, when it comes to memes and meme coins with utility, what would a project need to do to just absolutely grab your attention? As far as a project, a meme token without utility, and then taking a step further, and let's say a hybrid meme utility project. What would a utility be that would just absolutely just grab your attention, grab you by the horns, and just be like, oh fuck, I'm mesmerized?
If there was an awesome utility, I think, not to answer your question with a question, but the follow-up question is, if utility is the mecca, if utility is the real game changer, why not just do utility and not even do a meme token? But to answer your question, without utility, what would grab my attention? The same things that all these teams are trying for. Get a celebrity to be associated with it, a name, even peripherally, if Elon just talks about Mars, Doge on Mars,
Yes,
has nothing to do with the
sir.
coin.
Yes,
And
sir.
then the Doge Mars or whatever pumps, that gets people's attention. But then with utility, I mean, to be honest, like Lindy effect is, all our lizard brains. It's the same thing. Is this like what Loudmouth was saying? Has the coin been around? Is it like kind of battle tested? Is there some sort of reliability? But at that point, the gains are less, so it's a trade off.
I was going to say too, before the space closes, thank you for bringing me on. The next $1 billion token is the gateway to Mars, ticker Mars. You heard it here first.
I'm shorting it. Hey, Spike, dude, thanks so much for coming on, man. Great stuff. I just followed Shibtoshi. I did like his answers. I'm going to check him out. I'm going to see what he has to say. I also followed Boomerang and Wendy, and Loudmouth and everybody else. Guys, thank you so much. This will be the last thing I say unless Shibtoshi has a follow-up for me. Thank you, guys.
No, that's it. Thank you for the answers, Boomerang. Thank you for the hospitality, and I'm more than open to talking to you in DMs to see if we can go anywhere from here. Aaron, it was a pleasure to actually get on stage with you, and Wendy, I appreciate for all your ongoing support. Mike, you're a fucking stud. 50 ETH. I'm not sure if we've spoke before. Before on maybe with Borovic, maybe I'm not sure, but it was good to have you up here. To everybody else, thank you for your answers and allowing me the time to kind of speak a little bit on my thoughts.
Hey, of course, it was great to have you. We're always open to hear different kind of thoughts and ideas, and we all have different journeys in the space. So we just put these spaces together to kind of, show everybody all corners of the market, and hopefully they get a more clear understanding of the market themselves and decide what they want to do and how they want to proceed. But guys, that's a wrap for another awesome space. I love you. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you to the speakers. Follow everybody, connect, network, touch grass, take profits, and give us a follow. Aaron and I, we put a lot in the back behind the scenes to put these together. So we were just really hope you're enjoying this. And this year is almost over, so we have our last show next week. Make sure to set your reminders. I will be sharing the space on Monday. So yeah, excited to see you next week.
And don't
Thank you.
forget to put your notification bell on for Boomerang, because things always come back around.
Loudmouth, you're cool, man. I like you.
Smooth.
Remember
Thank you
to
guys for
degen.
having us up here.
Hey, thank you
Thank you
guys.
for
Awesome
coming again,
space. This is a great,
Michael.
great panelist. Thank you, Shibtoshi and Wendy.
Bye. Tina, feel better soon so we could go out because I'm missing you tonight. Love you
Yeah,
guys.
thank you so much. Good luck, Dee. It's gonna be fire, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'll tell him official later. Love you.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Love
Great
you.
listening to you
Bye.
guys. It was awesome.
Thank you. Bye.